proud. Be proud.
I've been a chef all my life. I grew up watching my grandma cooking. And since then I knew I wanted to do something artistic and something cultural. And I thought a restaurant was just the best place to have a sense of community and to reflect something, right? Like as restaurateurs, you have that ability to transport people. You can create a whole atmosphere that will transport you somewhere, or a flavor that will remind you of your grandma. And that's some of the best compliments that you have as a restaurateur. So that's what I wanted to do, restaurants and our hotels. On the kitchen is very much like a military regime. And it was not easy just say, I'm gay. And then a stigma of being feminine or being less powerful if you're gay, or being less of a man that you're gay, which has nothing to do with it. So having that authority, it kind of cost me more. I had to really show them that authority and that respect, but just being good at what I was doing. I will say that in the UK, there's this passive-aggressive sense, and that is mainly led by ignorance. And that sometimes happens in customs when I come back from a trip or anything. They will follow me, and then just stop me and then just just check what I have on my bags, just because I'm a man, and brown and could be perceived as Middle Eastern or anything else. But that's a racial thing that you have to live. And then add that I'm LGBT, right? So I was talking with a friend, and we were three of us in the bus, and without any reason, someone just punched me in the face, and everybody was there on the bus, and nobody did anything. That happened, most probably because I was gay. All these years that you lose by being gay, because my generation did lost those years, because you were not able to express yourself after your 20s or your 30s, because I was obviously coming from a very religious culture. So I wish I could ask for help at that time. I was very lucky that I found the love of my life, like my husband of 16 years. And we've been through all this together. We lived for years in Bermondsey, but it somehow became too gentrified, and it starts to become too sterile. And I actually like the multicultural edge that Lewisham had. And also, there's a lot of this kind of artistic vibe that I really enjoy, and also around Deptford. The corner was one of those key parts of me feeling that I belong to a new neighborhood. They opened just 2 blocks from my street. The place is so well curated. They just made a huge mural with LGBT representation. I feel like at home, people were very quickly accepting us around Lewisham.
Let them say your name out loud. Be proud.
I was born at home in my old flat in Lewisham. I was pretty much raised there in the first part of my life. For a living, I work in the theatre, and I work as an actor and hopefully a producer one day. There is real issues with inclusion and diversity, especially in the sector that I work in. I kind of have to solidify myself, I'm black, I'm queer, I'm great, this is what I can do. And it is a bit challenging because I do stand up for myself as a queer woman, but sometimes it's not always the safest thing to do. At one point, I really struggled with my mental health, and this was intrinsically to do with my sexuality. I was at university and I was on my own, and I was just I know that I'm queer, I know that I'm gay, but it's really difficult for me to say this and express this out loud. There were people who knew and I could talk to about it, but I was I didn't really express it out loud, and I was struggling so much because everything was being kept in. It was a really, really stressful time. You grow up with certain things, certain ideas that once you were taught them for so long, you still have to welcome them and kind of check yourself, just to make sure that that it's okay to be yourself. Representation is really important. And when you see Black therapists or you have POC therapists that are there to help people within their own community, I think that does absolute wonders. It did for me. I had a Black therapist who understood me, and I'm so grateful for her because that was amazing. The theatre should be accessible for everyone. It's not just like for middle class people, white people, it's for everyone, and there's something for everyone. And I think more queer people and more POC people from global majority should be encouraged to make theatre and go after what they want. That's just another form of representation that really is quite important.
Be unapologetic in your aesthetic.
The issues that I encountered being of mixed heritage was probably more within the Turkish community and the Jamaican community. I was too Turkish for the Jamaican side and too Jamaican for the Turkish side.
Being Turkish, growing up in an area like this, it has had its challenges because we come from very strict backgrounds. Parents are immigrants and they come in and they're like, okay, look, I don't know what it's like outside this door, but I do know what it's like to be Turkish and a Muslim. So I'm just gonna practice that with you. My story is a little bit opposite to most people's because where I was gay, I was confidently gay.
The cultural values that I would uphold, where homosexuality was something that was frowned upon. I used to go along with that narrative, knowing full well that actually, you know, behind closed doors, I'm attracted to other men.
I've been that person that's been caged and been looked at and been pointed at, you know, and saying, oh, that gay Turkish boy. I never had a name sometimes. That's what made me decide that I was going to be visible, whether you liked it or not.
There was a lot of negativity around me and my sexuality. Everybody was quite surprised, and I did receive quite a lot of hostility. I was even attacked. Overnight, I was like ostracized from the community, and my mental health was compromised. I was afraid. I was a recluse. If it wasn't for the sake of having a daughter, I don't even think that I would have left my house.
I've had to ask myself questions. Are you having a breakdown? I think I've done that a lot in my lifetime. Is this it? Is this moment the moment that you're about to break? And is there going to be a comeback from this moment?
Being of mixed heritage, as I said, and having the rejection, and then now being gay and having further rejection, and then having a child, and then going through court proceedings to have access to your child. It was just rejection after rejection. And I just got to the point where I was like, if I have to let everybody that I love go, then I had to make that choice.
The thing with living with shame is you know how to play the game. We're only good at this because we know how to put on a show to hide the shame. So the easiest thing for me was to have a cry on my own at home before you go to bed, and then wake up and be like, it's okay today.
I didn't meet that person that I felt like I had to change my life for, and then I met Kem. If the truth be told, I was dating Kem's cousin, female cousin. That was my little thing I used to say
to my house.
say to my family, yeah.
Since the day that I got married, I can't tell you this feeling that I've had.
It was a revolutionary moment for me.
Yeah.
That was the first time that we actually danced in public.
First time we
First time we kissed.
In front of all our family.
I mean, we've been together for 17 years, and that was the first time we actually kissed in front of
And I said to you,
you know, like, it was a lot.
do you remember I said you kiss me on my forehead, you can't kiss me. Everyone's there, everyone's watching us. I said, you've got to kiss me on my forehead. And I remember walking down the aisle thinking, oh my God, where's he gonna kiss me? Is he gonna kiss me? Are we gonna kiss? All these questions. And then he kissed me, and I was just like, do it again. Let everybody see this, you know? That was like that wedding was a fairy tale. We do need representation for many things. Culture, race, religion, identity, gender, all of that. Mental health. I wish I had somebody like me that can represent being gay and Turkish.
Being visible in Catford with Twerk and Jerk has actually really also helped me to own who I am.
You are more than your skin. The essence is deep within.
I'm an artist. I have my own business. I sell clothes and I do illustration. I make a lot of queer art and a lot of stuff, like I put a lot of vegetables and stuff because I'm vegan. So a lot of it's just inspired by like my day-to-day life, I'd say, really. I went through a whole transitioning phase. I was like, maybe I'm trans. And then I did a quiz of like, what gender are you? And the results were like 33.3% male, 33.3% female, and 33.3% other. I've still got the screenshot on my phone. This was years ago, and I was like, oh my gosh, that makes so much sense. When you look back in history, it's been there forever, like third genders, and it was actually something that was celebrated a lot. And then, I mean, people got colonized, and now it's like, that's bad, but it's really frustrating because it's like, that's actually part of your like culture's history. If you look back, it's a thing, it's not a new thing, it's a thing that's been around forever. When I first started using they, them pronouns, people were like, that's not grammatically correct. And it's like, it actually is grammatically correct. Like, when you don't know who something belongs to, you would say they or them. Even when you go through the gender clinic, it's still quite rare to them, and they'll call you he, and they'll be like, I know you haven't had your hormones yet. And it's like, that's because I don't want hormones. And I told every single time I went there, I was like, I don't want hormones, I just want top surgery. And then they sent a letter, and I was called he, she, and they, all in one letter, which I shouldn't laugh because it's really bad. If you're black and you're queer, it's like, it's different. You move through life differently. I feel like people see you differently. And if I'm walking down the road with my girlfriend and I'm holding her hand, there will be looks. And I can't tell if it's because I'm queer or if it's like, oh, you're queer and you're black. I think I'm quite aware of it, and sometimes I don't hold her hand for that reason, which is annoying. Sometimes I'll see someone who's like really like androgynous or something, and it will make me like a bit like, why can't I be like that? But overall, I think I went through a good few months where I just laid in my bed and listened to Sam Smith. That was my therapy. I think me being like really like myself, I don't like using the word stubborn, but I guess no, I am stubborn. Like, I was very much like, this is how I am. If you don't like it, I don't care. And I think that's what got me to where I am now. Just keep doing what feels right to you.
Bring they, them, her, and him.
There wasn't a lot of mixed race people in the 60s growing up. The makeup illusion back then was all like National Front. Growing up was being called Wog, Jungle Bunny. Like, it was just all effing niggers, well, go back home. I mean, where's home? If you're born here in England, surely this is your home. My mum said to me, I was changing schools, so I was around 11, and she said, so what do you want to be when you grow up? And I was like, I'm going to be a professional footballer. And she was like, no, girls don't play football. I said, why are you telling me that? Like, I'm not a girl. She was like, yes, you are. I was like, no, I'm not. She's like, yes, you are. When I say I was devastated, like, I was like, what is she talking about? I knew I was a man trapped in this body, and I didn't know how does the man come out? When I look down, I've got women's bits. And I was into women, but not as a woman. So I just couldn't get my head around this shit. If it had been like it is now, I would have transitioned. I probably wouldn't have had any children, to be fair. I would have just transitioned, job done. But there was never an option, bury it, get on with your life. I pretended it wasn't there. Around the age of 50, I was questioning my life. Like my spirituality, I'd really stepped into that. And I was on my healing journey, and I just felt like I'm telling the world, be your authentic self. And then I'm looking at myself and going, wait a minute. You're on your healing journey, you're telling people, be authentic, but look at you, you're hiding. I was teaching my children how to do readings, and we used to do this thing where we'd all sit around a table and we'd just pick decks of cards, throw them on the table, and then turn a card over, and then whoever you're drawn to, you just give a message. So we're all doing this, so we're laughing and joking, and I've got one of my friends there, this male friend. He turns a card and he goes, oh, I'm drawn to you. And I'm like, yeah, go for it. And then he goes, oh, I don't know what this is. Like, you're not yourself, but it's all to do with your sexuality. Like, you sure you're gay? And he goes, I don't know what this is. It's for you. You got to take it. And I'm like, nah. And he goes, you can't be in denial. Like, I don't know what it means, but you need to look at this. Throws the card down. I burst into tears. And then my girls are like, what's the matter? What's happened? And I'm like, I'm trans. My middle child turns to me, the one that I thought I'd have the issue with, and says, what's the problem? And I'm like, well, I just don't know how to take the next step. And she goes, whatever you want to do, we'll support you in it. And that was the moment my life just changed. So now I've done my healing journey. I've not finished because it's continuous. So I meditate every day, and I get out for walks in nature, and I've changed my name by deed poll. So there's little things that you do along the way, little victories that you do it and you're just like, yes, one more. You know, it's hard work, and it's just walking into a bank to change your name is drama. But, you know, when you do it and you walk out and you've got that new card coming, and it comes and it's got your masculine name on it, like my driving license now, Mr. You know, and it's just, those little things are so important. So yeah, I kind of feel like I'm in a good place mentally.
Front and center, take your win.
I think what I would say to my younger self is just to live every moment of your life, because it's valuable and it teaches you a lesson, and that will help you to grow in your life and somehow get there and be happy.
Just be the most authentic version of you and be true to what you believe in. Don't listen to anyone else. Stay true to what's inside you.
Don't fit in for anybody. Just be exactly who you are today.
Be confident in your skin and just continue to project love.
Keep being who you are and don't let what people say deter you from that.
We spend so much of our time trying to get to the finishing line. So we start here and we just want to get to that finishing line, but we miss the process. And it's the process, how we got there is the key to success.